Perfect. Hi, can everyone hear me? Amazing. Okay. I want to start my set by saying that somebody introduced me earlier as a lesbian angel, and I think that's all you need to know before we move onto this set. Also, I spent 4 years working on a book, and I've just finished it a couple of months ago. So this is all new stuff. As we say in the poetry community, new shit, and then you cheer really loudly. So let's hear it. New shit. Okay. And so one other thing you need to know about this poem is that there's a lot of F-bombs in this poem, so if you are sensitive about that stuff, cover your ears. Okay, this is the opening poem from my book. And Obad is a morning song of lovers parting at dawn. And that's all you need to know for this poem. Obad with a dirty stove. You shriek, science, motherfucker. Grief and grime bubble under dish soap. And as I scrub the heating coils, rust painting my hands. You've claimed victory. Mamacita, you shout, dancing across the kitchen floor, arms resplendent over your head. You come to bed still laughing. I was so proud, and then I fell asleep on the crossword. In the morning, a damp spot by clue number 8. Pencil marks streaking across the page. We haven't fucked in weeks, but waking up to a crossword half finished. This is the American everyday I dreamed. The safety of someone I love making my morning coffee. So when I was first coming out, I used to say that my favorite men were dead philosophers and writers, and this poem has both. This poem has Frank O'Hara and Goethe. So this poem uses a line from Frank O'Hara, and it's called Goethe's Last Words Were More Light. Goethe's last words were more light. There's heaven and there's you, standing in the light and holding a Tupperware of soup. Kin, the sound of someone leaning against me in the late afternoon. This evening, it is you and not a woman to kiss a light coming into my living room. Love, I know, we keep trying to die at the door of heaven. Then God enters. America taught me being an immigrant is to kill the person you used to be. In this room, the December light dies in my lap, like the days I used to dream. And it isn't being queer saving ourselves from dying. My father says gay is sin, sounding like the Chinese word for heart. And wouldn't you also hear, light is dimming while you stand in it. The apertures are opening and closing, like the visa officer's window. I like the technicolor of my imagined life. Like America, the light keeps changing its mind. I had faith once, and healthy eggs. Now I offer my fingerprints and a scan of my face for a brightened evening at the bar. You and the hours cruel across the little booth. Maybe heaven will be different this time tomorrow. Maybe it's this, more time, more today. Okay, something you need to know about this next poem, lots of context. A lot of this book is set in Singapore, which is my home country, and it is also, a lot of these poems are titled after a section of the Singapore Penal Code, 377A, which is the section of the legislation that criminalizes sex between two men and is used as part of the government's kind of attempt to quell anti-queer life and anti-LGBT life. So there's a bunch of poems in this book called Section 377A, and this one is called Light. Section 377A, Light. Tonight, my life begins in your eyes. My only thought is how to keep alive. Humid and lit, I have come to be saved by the pink light, the open door, by your finger in my mouth, cold as water. Stranger, steal me small belonging for this hour. Home is a window light makes of your face. In tomorrow's monotonous hour, I will turn from a man under white light, but in this dim, your hand on my waist is God in this light. On the back of your neck, my hand a shadow, wandering. Stranger, my body is your mouth wide open. You raise your hand, dust splits, leaks through your fingers. Your light enters me. You all are such an amazing audience. Like, everyone is so rapt, and I really appreciate that. Because I'm a very quiet performer, and so I really appreciate that. Okay, so this is another 377A poem, and this one is called Circle. Section 377A, Circle. On a date, looking at the Brooklyn Bridge in the rain. We are so lucky to live in New York City, she says, headlights running rectangles on her skin. And can you believe my luck, I say, walking home, my hand wrapped around mace spray, a tab and a circle. I get to live, to hold my arm out, to swipe someone in, while the armed men stand by the turnstiles on their phones. And I'm lucky, my tongue in a woman's mouth on the corner of Bedford Avenue, her arm around my waist, a circle. To see the perfect circle of a packed pipe laid out on the coffee table. To trade one legislation for another. Singapore, a glass circle, challenge after challenge to the Constitution dismissed. Here are the headlines. Another Asian woman attacked. Another. I used to say, desperate and inside you, we are our own country. I know now a country is nothing to aspire to. Loving a country and it letting you down is a perfect circle. Okay, I have two more. This one is after this poem by Ocean Vuong, and I don't know how many of you know or read Ocean Vuong, but this is takes a lot from this poem by Ocean Vuong called Someday I'll Love Ocean Vuong, and it starts with a self-address. When walking, I keep my eyes straight ahead. Janelle, don't look down. Revere the sun. Watch it make a shallow arc, skimming like a stone across the sky. Remember your mother is not luminescent. Your lover is past Halcyon. Watch water shiver from the faucet on the metal rim and whoosh its merry way into the drain hole. Remember your first inhale, that quiver of another long winter, pointed like a pencil tip as the wind passes through you, an open window. Hold your breath 3 avenues to the subway. When someone sounds like your mother, the fracture you hid from, close your mouth and remember your country let you down first. Janelle, don't lose track. The sky is the only universal ceiling. We stand under it, peeling, slow roasting, skewered. We forget countries are constructs, obscene as virginity. I don't need to remind you what Americans forget. You are standing on holy ground. Listen to the subway grates blowing raspberries at babies. Listen to the gaggle of cars craning their necks. Remember your time here expires. Don't look back now. Remember, you still can't claim America. Thank you all for the philosopher Simone Weil says, attention is the most generous, is the rarest and most purest form of generosity. And I feel like you've all been so generous with me today, with your attention and how, it is the purest form of generosity. So thank you for that. And thank you to this Arts Inn and to the Lear family for having us. Okay, this is the last poem. And this is what I call an old classic. If you're familiar with the Janelle discography, this is the golden oldie. Turnstile jumping. The card machine is broken again. On the platform, a boy jumps the turnstile behind me. I notice him walking toward the tracks with no look back. Some days the turnstiles swing forward and I don't look back. Some days by the emergency exit, a hand on a holster. Those days I say a little prayer. Last winter, I couldn't afford the subway, vaulted over the turning metal bars. Another hurdle to live, meaning being fed, meaning no metaphysical questions, just getting somewhere. Last winter, they could have made a detailed case for my deportation. Let me be honest. My vision has gone blurry from drinking, watching cars cutting overhead and starting my own, trying to find my way home. For years, I closed my palms over rings in shops, store lights searching, my hands grasping empty, my closed pockets, a small step over the sensor. Every day, another jump over. They hang men for marijuana back home. For years, I ended my day blowing smoke out the window. The case against me so loud it straightens into a hum. For this, always another hoop to jump through. Last night, the woman I love cried in the shower. They could drive you out too. I can't lose you. The hot water slipping down her neck. Can I name my danger? The top of her head, the buried smell of her sweat, the corner of her jawline, the hanger of her voice, the water wrapping around our bodies. I want to tell the lawyers I've jumped through every hoop. I've made my longing a hoop. Don't you see, I would jump through my own arms if it meant I could stay. Can I let myself want? More than tomorrow, more than someone to push open the emergency exit. Don't leave me, she cries. I mean to say, I stopped jumping, I promise. From the far end of the shower, I say, can I stay here? Stay, she says, as I pull the plastic curtain back, her stomach warm against my back, the water now cold around us. Stay a little longer. Thank you.